Welcome to the 2020 Recession Survival Guide channel. Folks, as many of you are aware, we are in challenging economic times and very uncertain economic times. It is inevitable that a downturn for the US and the world economy is on the horizon and sooner than most people think. So, how does one prepare for the 2020 recession? What steps should one take to be prepared? Just in case you're still living in the twilight zone, let me give you a few facts and figures that we all should know. This week, the Fed and the ADP released the September jobs report. It was expected that there would be 145,000 jobs made this month or last month, and only 136,000 jobs were made on that report, missing the expectations. It should also be noted that fourth quarter GDP growth has now been cut to a paltry 1.5% growth rate. Some experts are being led to believe that because the Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates again this month by as much as 25 basis points and may even see a 50 basis point cut before the year is out, that things are okay, that everything is going fine. But we know that's not the case. For starters, we have an inverted yield curve still. Secondly, we have a $22 trillion debt, not including unfunded liabilities. And third, we have credit increasingly tightening, with the average family owing over $8,000 in car loans, and student loan debt have become unsurmountable for most families. So, with that in mind, my friends, the 2020 Recession Guide is here to save you, to help you get prepared in the next 12 months for what is to come. So, we're going to start off with 10 items that you will need to have in the upcoming recession, to survive the upcoming recession and or depression that is on our doorstep here in America. And keep in mind, folks, that this is not going to be just the United States. This is a worldwide recession that is going to be happening, a global slowdown. So Europe will feel it, South America will feel it, Asia will feel it, Africa will feel it. There will be nowhere to escape, but you can take the necessary preparations to prepare yourself now for this situation, okay? So let us go into our list here. This is top 10 items that you will have in no order that you will need to have for the upcoming recession. The first item that you will need to have and be aware of is security. Security is your utmost protection for you and your family's security. Should be paramount, because once the stock market drops, once credit is to zero, and once banks tell you that they're going to do a bail-in instead of a bail-out, which means that you may go to the bank one day, wake up, and they say, look, you can only withdraw up to $250 or $500. That's it. You can't get all your money out. How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to take care of your family and your kids? This is a very real possibility, and they have done this in the past, in the 20s and 30s, when we had the Great Depression. Okay, so when people can't get access to their money or to goods and services, basic things that we need, like just to eat, food to eat, toilet paper, uh, everything that we use in our daily life, things are going to get chaotic, not just in the cities, but in the rural areas too, as everyone scampers to find what supplies and things they can before crime increases to an insurmountable level, where you may call the police and it may take them 30 minutes to an hour to even get to your call, because they're going to be overwhelmed with crime, theft, looting, vandalism, all kinds of crazy crime that we've never seen before in America, because the whole economy is just going to collapse into a big heaping pile of recession. Okay, so you might want to think about security for yourself, having fences, boundaries around your property, having security motion sensor cameras, solar powered cameras, lights, solar powered lights, pepper spray and mace for the women in your family who are out and about in these cities are dangerous. You want to make sure everything is well lighted. Security can also mean having a big dog, guard dogs, and training them to be able to attack and to watch out for intruders that may come to steal the supplies that you have built up, whether that's bottled water, food, clothing, survival lamps, gear, etc. Okay, so if it make no sense to stock up on all these supplies and you have no way of protecting or defending yourself from what is to come. So security is of utmost concern. If you do not want, like I said, if you don't want to get guns per se or be trained in guns and weapons, and you can also be trained in other ways of defense. Like I said, pepper spray, mace, self-defense, martial arts, or you can be trained in into non-combative defenses, wrestling, judo, things of that nature. And the women can be trained, like I said, once again, to recognize things and to hamper people with different, baseball bats, just different things, paper spray maze. So that's number one. Number two, food. Food will become in high demand in a recessionary crash because remember now, the trucks are not delivering in a just-in-time delivery system that we have for our grocery stores. I worked at a grocery store, and grocery stores only keep about 3 days worth of food in their stores. Okay, but when you live in a community where a grocery store is in a community, and the community in itself may have 5 to 10,000 people for one grocery store, that grocery store will empty out in less than 24 hours of food and water. So you will need to stock up on non-perishable food items. Okay, this includes get yourself 20-pound bags of rice. Get yourself 20-pound bags of black beans, kidney beans, lentils, okay? Get yourself jars of peanut butter, jelly, tuna, cans of tuna, 6 pounds, pounds of pasta, 5-pound bags of spaghetti, pasta, or macaroni shells. Keep those and store them in a safe and dry location. You also want plenty of dried fruits. You can also use dried fruits to make protein smoothies and different things. Should you have a generator, or should you find a way to mash them up and make different things that you may need. Okay. In addition to food, you want to stock up on medicines. Go to the dollar store, go to Dollar Tree, and get medicines. Okay, they'll last at least 4 or 5 years. They have expiration dates on these things. Get things such as Tylenol, Aleve for the woman for migraines. Get Midol. Get you want to also get shaving cream and razors. Razors are going to be in high demand because people still need to shave, even if electricity expands blackouts and different things of that nature. You want to get all these from the dollar store while you can, because once they limit supplies overnight, things are going to be scarce to find. Okay, dare I say Walmart. You want to go there, you want to get a lot of canned vegetables from Walmart, a lot of canned dried fruits for the kids, a lot of fruit cups, jello, applesauce. Okay, oatmeal, instant oatmeal, or barley or wheat, things that can have a lasting, things that you can put in Tupperware containers or Mylar bags that you can freeze dry and keep for a long period of time. Bottled water goes without saying, but if bottled water gets too expensive, I know some people who buy pallets of bottled, or just buy a whole pallet of bottled water for the year, for 6 months. They do that, and you can ask that if you have the capacity of truck or something to bring that and the storage to keep in your garage. That just saves you money off the top. Okay, but if you don't want to do that extreme, if you don't like getting bottled water because I know there's plastic contents of all that, you can get a Brita water filter, or you can buy a Berkey water filter online that you can keep for 100 or 200 bucks, and that can filter any kind of water. And better yet, if you don't want to take those drastic steps, you can go on Amazon and get water purification tablets and buy a jar of pool shock, things you use in the pool, and you can filter your water and clean your water that way too. Should the water pumps go down and should the electricity go down for a blackout during the day, you will have that. So make sure that you are stocking up on these things, because food prices will go super high in a hyperinflationary event, and that's regardless of whether or not we experience hyperinflation or deflation. Food prices will go sky high in the beginning because it's going to be scarce, because the trucks are not going to be delivering food like that. Okay? Once again, you want to stock up on medical supplies, antibiotics, and anything that you need on a daily basis. Contact lens solution, those things can be used for barter. Shaving cream, toilet paper for barter, and also for your antibiotic cream, mosquito cream, bug spray, band-aids, first aid kits. Like I said, you can go to Walmart, Target, online, and just get a first aid kit. Just stock up on those first aid kits, those little car first aid kits, or even the big ones for $30. And you'll definitely be in great shape. Just each pay period buy one of those and you'll be in great shape. Okay, now, and also anti-itch cream, because like I said, you're going to be outside for a while. Tampons, condoms, birth control pills, things of that nature you want to buy, and just keep them. Even if you're not using them, you can use them to barter during times of recession. Okay, now the next item of concern is transportation. Okay, Right now, if you have a car that's in working order and that's paid off, you want to keep it. You want to fix it up and make any repairs on it necessary before the next Great Recession. Okay, we know the prices on new cars are going up. You do not want a new car during this time. They're making 84-month loans now. Okay, not just on BMWs, Lexuses, and Toyotas. They're making 84-month loans on Kias now. Okay, that's how bad the economy is. And the 2020 models are due out right now, this month or next month, and they haven't sold the 2019 and 2018 models. Okay, those models are sitting in abandoned mall parking lots. Dealerships are renting other spaces to place those cars because their lots are super full beyond comprehension. Okay, so you do not want to get yourself into more debt. You want to get out of debt for this next depression or recession that we're going to go through. Because what's going to happen is prices, everything is in a bubble right now, from housing, real estate, to credit market, to student loan market, to everything is in a bubble. And so because everything is in the bubble, there's going to be a deflationary price economy. After we go through the hyperinflation, there's going to be a deflationary price period where everything is going to be dropping, but there's not going to be enough cash around for people to buy all this except the super rich people, the billionaires. So cash is king during the beginning. I don't care what nobody says. Keep your cash because you're going to need that in the beginning to get through this crisis, okay? Because the banks are already going through a liquidity crisis right now, and that's what the Fed is stepping in and providing $75 billion loans to them daily, and they pay it back the next day. This whole repo thing, that's what that's about, okay? There's a liquidity crisis because cash is tightening, cash is shortening, the money supply is tightening. So cash is king, my friends. Save some cash, have an emergency fund of at least 3 months, okay? If you can't start the day, okay, at least have a month of emergency fund that you can access outside of the bank, okay? Because banks, like I said, they can limit withdrawals during times of these nature, okay? Next, you will need a way to charge up your cell phones, okay, your generator. Look at electric generators, solar powered chargers. Get those off of Amazon. Get those off of anywhere you can. They will come in handy. I won't recommend the gas powered generator because they're too cumbersome, especially if you're going to be on the run or on the traveling. But I definitely think you need to get some electric LED lanterns that you can get off $5 or $10 off of Amazon. And for your transportation, you will need to have like I said, keep some subway passes or bus passes, whatever, saved up. Worst case scenario, keep a bicycle on your porch or on your patio, just in case you and your family have to get away. You definitely want to do that. And then you want to get in great physical shape in order to survive a recession and a depression or environment. You want to get in shape, okay? Practice running, practice walking, practice having a 30-pound backpack on your back for 1 or 2 hours or 6 hours a day, okay? You don't want to be in a situation where you can't even run a mile or half a mile and you're on all these medications when there's a recession, because there's going to be too many people in the streets looking and foraging for things, and it can get very dangerous. So you want to be in great shape. You want your mind to be in great shape and your body to be in great shape to be able to survive, because this 2020 recessionary period, that whenever they decide to drop the economy like this and reset, we're not going to just come out of it right away, okay? This could take years. Like, I'm talking 4 to 5 years, as much as 8 to 10 years, as it could be, as Japan went through a whole decade of lost time, okay? America, Europe, and the rest of the world could experience a time where we can experience a depression or recession that could last 5 years or more, regardless of who's the next president or who's in shape, okay? Because they got to reset the economy, they got to reset the value of the money, and because it's not that much money, the rich people have made all the money to be made out the economy, and so there's nothing left, okay? The consumption is over. Right now, the consumer is holding up the economy, but the media is touting how the consumer is holding up the economy, but we can see that job losses are happening every day. Companies are filing for bankruptcy. Forever 21 just filed for bankruptcy, and others are going to be increasing filing for bankruptcy. That tells me that there's a liquidity problem, and so that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be inflation will get us in the beginning, but it's going to be deflation and stagflation that's going to kill us toward the end, toward the middle and the ending of this whole recessionary 2020 period that we're going to look at. So you want to keep that in mind, okay? Since a lot of people are going to be not going to be working, jobs are going to be replaced by automation. Companies don't want to pay benefits, so they're going to get a lot of self-checkout, a lot of robots. You see that in stores now. Even in McDonald's now, they have self-checkout, self-ordering machines in McDonald's computers. So because of that, you want to have a lot of trivia books. Get a lot of books, a lot of games for your kids, a lot of things to keep their mind active and teach them principles, things. Maybe you might want to homeschool your kids if you have them anytime after 2020 or 21. If you have kids and they're old enough for school age, you might want to consider homeschooling them. They might learn more at home, or having an online tutor or something of that nature, or teaching them a trade like carpentry, plumbing, electrician, things of that nature, computer programming, things of that nature. That's actually going to take them a skill instead of and getting them in thousands and thousands of dollars of debt, which they don't need. Because contrary to popular belief, even if the system crashes, debt is not a good thing to have for you. And you want to make sure that you take care of that as soon as possible, if you can or if you're able to. Okay. So we know that the economy runs on debt and consumption, the American economy anyway, and to a lesser extent Europe. But you do not want to be carrying a whole bunch of debt, or when hyperinflation hits, and definitely not when deflation hits, because your cash is what you're going to need to survive, because cash will still be worth something, contrary to popular belief. And I know there's a lot of gold and silver people out there, but cash will still be worth something. It still will be viable. And in Venezuela, as a matter of fact, they still use the bolivar, even though it's supposedly hyperinflated away to death, but they still use it because it still has some value. Okay, so you want to hang on to your cash. And this is just something that these are just quick little tips for the 2020 recession survival guide. Okay, we will get into more later in later videos of food preparation, growing your own food. We're getting more solar powered energy, and I'm going to talk to you also about things that you can do to recession proof your house, and also things that you can do to recession proof your investments, okay, that you have. We'll be getting to that more in a later series. So I look forward to hearing from you. Please let me know what you're doing to prepare for 2020 as we transition from this old economy into this new economy of automation and technology, and we go into this recession and depression that is going to be predicted for the United States. Like I said, this is going to be more of a long-term thing. 2008 was just a blip on the radar. This is going to look to be more of a long-term deal, meaning could possibly be 4 years or more. We could be looking at this type of stagflation, recessionary depression, or recession that we're looking at. So I'll be curious to know what you think, what you see in your area of the country, if you're in the United States or not. And we know that Washington is not very much paying attention to this. They're getting us distracted with reality TV and what Mr. Trump is saying on tweets and all that, and that's entertaining. But at the end of the day, the economy, if this thing goes down, it's going to start with us first. If America economy goes down, then you can guarantee that Germany and Deutsche Bank and everybody else will go down. And who will emerge as the next superpower? You have one guess, and that is China. China will emerge as the next financial superpower. America will still hold their ranking as superpower in terms of moral and ethical leadership, but China will be the next financial superpower if they cannot rein in this inevitable recession, which may lead into a depression. Okay, and so we must rein in our spending individually. We must do what we can as an individual, as a society, to try to stem the effects of what has happened these last 20 to 30 years with this economy that is on the verge of a national, worldwide recession, depression type of status. You can't print your way out of this. The Mint can't print their way out of it. And you can't lower rates to negative to get yourself out of it, because now we're in a globalism system that Clinton brought in and that first Bush brought in back in the early 90s. And so we can't print our way out of it, and we can't borrow our way out of this thing. And so it's coming. The question is, are you going to be prepared to survive and ride this thing out successfully? Or are you going to be one of those people on the other side who are going to be wishing that they would have made the preparations that they should have made while we're still in the good times? Nothing bad has happened yet. No black swan event has happened yet. But yet we're seeing layoffs, massive debt, massive corporate buybacks, massive consumption still going on, as if everything is the roaring 20s. Okay, so if this is the good times, I would hate to have to see what's going to happen in the bad times when credit dries up. Okay, when liquidity dries up, cash liquidity dries up. What the banks say, you can only get 200 out, you can only get 500 out per day. What's going to happen in the bad times? Well, we know what's going to happen. Crime is going to go up, and it's going to be Mad Max world out here, because people are used to a high standard of living in America. and then never had to go to a food line or to beg for food or groceries or beg for water or see a blackouts for days in electricity, okay? So get prepared now. We're in the good times, and you'll be prepared for the bad times. Thank you for joining me on Economic Recession 2020 Survival Guide. I look forward to seeing you in the next series and videos. Have a great day.